I am William Poet. I am president of 9Q Consulting and Education, and on behalf of myself, my partner, Dr. Lars Ciel, and our team of 9Q leaders worldwide, I want to congratulate and welcome you to our 9Q family. You have now completed your Living in Flow basic training, and you can see, I know you can see and you can feel the impact of these high performance habits. By implementing these, by successfully integrating these into your life, you are going to spend more time in the green zone. And what's the green zone? The green zone is when you are feeling great, you are focused and intentional. And just by doing that, this is the first of 3 9Q frameworks. Just by deploying these high performance habits, you are going to get exponentially greater benefits in your life in terms of productivity, creativity, and impact. One of our teams last year, Jill Sands from Merch Media, her team of 9 were trained in these high performance habits. And in 90 days, this was one of our very first case studies. In fact, I'll include it under this video. They had a 349% ROI in their training investment. And so we know, we have the data to back up the power of this tool. So I want to welcome you. I want to congratulate you on taking this first step. I want to reinforce the critical nature of training. Now, some of you might know before I began as a leadership and peak performance specialist, I was a close quarter combat expert. I was a knife fighting instructor. I worked with members of special teams. And what we understood and what we understand today is there's 2 things you need to be hyper successful. You need access to valid knowledge. A lot of what's being taught out there is theory. A lot of what's being taught out there isn't working or won't work. And so what Dr. Ciel and I have done is we spent 30 years going back and really sifting through all the information, all the data, and bringing you the best information and the best tools. So it's half the formula. The other half of the formula is that valid knowledge has to be cellularized. You have to take ownership of it. And the only way to take ownership of it is through training. And so it's not about watching these videos once. This is about consistently deploying every single day. Put sticky notes all over your office. Have tags, have alarms on your phone set to reinforce these tools. That's step 1. This is our first framework. Now here's where it gets really exciting. Now that you know how to spend more time in flow, what happens neurologically? Well, the average leader, the average team member that is living in the yellow zone, stressed, overwhelmed, and distracted, the parts of the brain that are responsible for creativity, insights, and inspiration shut down. As you consistently deploy these habits, you are going to find yourself being more creative. You're going to find yourself with more inspiration and greater insights, and this is where our next 2 frameworks come in. Our second framework is all about growing. Now, you have developed skills over your lifetime, and those skills are what have led to your success. Well, what we teach at 9Q is we integrate all of who you are into our training. So you have your physical quotient, your intellectual quotient, your emotional quotient, your spiritual or service quotient, and your energetic quotient. And every one of these quotients, PQ, IQ, EQ, SQ, and 9Q, can be expanded because we are training fully integrated leaders. We are training men and women that recognize if I ignore my health, doesn't matter how smart I am, doesn't matter how good my EQ is, if I don't have the juice and the vibrancy to show up for my team, show up for my clients and stakeholders, I will not be successful. You might be in great shape and you might be brilliant, but you might have low levels of emotional intelligence. And we know that EQ is critical to success. And so the second framework is called your ATR training protocol. And what's ATR? It's your ability to respond. It's the strength and power of these quotients that you bring with you into every opportunity, every threat, and every challenge you face as a leader. What we want to do is we want to help you maximize these quotients. We want to make sure that you have a training protocol, regardless of your industry. Every single week, you are growing stronger physically, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, and energetically. So framework number 1 is what you've just gone through, getting in flow, these high performance habits. Our second framework is your ATR development protocol. And then our third, this is the real sweet spot. This is where the magic of 9Q happens. It is our 9Q integrated process. And it is an elemental formula that teaches you how to take any idea, any service, any product, and bring it from concept to realization. It's an energetic flow. And when every element, void, earth, water, fire, and wind, are in flow and integrated, you will be amazingly successful. Think of an organization, a healthy company. You got the vision, mission, values, the DNA of that company. Then you have the strategy, the high value projects, goals, and targets for Q1, Q2, Q3, and through Q4. Then we shift to the water element. These are your training protocols, your process, your product development. We go over to the fire element. This is your marketing. This is the human component. The storytellers in your organization, the people that are responsible for bringing your amazing product out to the marketplace. You can have the best product, the best service in the world, but if you don't have experts at sharing your story, sharing these gifts, your company will suffer. And then lastly, we have the operational component. These are the men and women that every day are making sure that you are exceeding your promises. And you need to have a closed loop feedback system where as you take your products to the marketplace and you're learning new things, what's working and what isn't, they can be incorporated into your design, and your company, your product, your service are always being elevated. So this is really the totality of the 9Q training program. We have your Living in Flow, which you've just gone through. We have your ATR development protocol, which is our second framework. And then we have our fully integrated process. And this leads me to your next exciting step. What we want you to do right now, the next thing you can do to take your company, take your team, take your skill to the next level is schedule your win review. This is a free bonus. This is part of the training you've already paid for. You're going to meet with one of our 9Q facilitators. And the first thing you're going to do is we're going to take a look at your integrity setup. We're going to take a look at your reboot. So we're going to make sure that you have built and deployed the most effective 6 habits possible. Then the second thing we're going to do in your win review is we're going to do a quick ATR inventory. We're going to look at your strengths, we're going to look at your weaknesses, and we're going to identify the biggest gap. And we're going to help you create a training protocol for the next 90 days to close that gap. And then the last part of this win review is we're going to sit down with you. We're going to look at this year's highest value project. This is the biggest imagined win you have for yourself, your team, and your organization. And our facilitator is going to help you upgrade that project. Make sure that energetically it is accessing all the resources. It's addressing the opportunities and threats that you're facing. And we want to make sure at 9Q, our job is to make sure that you have the tools you need to go out into the marketplace and thrive. Because we know that it's the human component in an organization that makes the difference. You can have the best strategy, you can have the best technology, you can have the best levers out there, but at the end of the day, it is leaders, it's men and women who motivate, inspire, who move the needle forward. So the next step, the very next thing we need you to do is right now, click on the button underneath. It'll take you to our calendar. You'll find out when one of our 9Q facilitators is available. And you will get a free 30-minute win review where, again, what are we going to do? We're going to make sure you have maximized your high-performance habits. We're going to identify the number one gap in your ATR. We're going to make sure you have a training protocol to fill it. Then we're going to look at your company, your teams, your highest value projects for the year. We're going to help you upgrade them because our commitment is to make sure that you have the tools and training you need to be successful in the life that you've chosen. So thank you for being a part of our team. Now, click on the schedule button and let's get together and set up that win review. And as a member of this team, I just want to thank you for your commitment to showing up and shining and to really leading with your heart and with your intellect and serving this world to the best of your ability, because that's what we're here for. On behalf of myself, Dr. Lars Ciel, and our team of 9Q leaders worldwide, thank you. Click on that button below, set up your win review, and I will see you soon.